All right, you and I are going to pick up our discussion right where we left off last week. If you did not see part one, where I deconstructed the S.A.T. essay, I want you to hit pause, go down to the video description bar. There'll be a link to last week's video so you can get caught up. So last week, we dug into the nuts and bolts of what you're going to do on the actual S.A.T. essay in those 50 minutes that they give you. This week, though, I want to talk about how it's going to be scored and who's going to see your scores. So a couple of years ago, when they redesigned the test, schools had a new decision to make about how they wanted to use the scores. And it really depends on the school and what they're looking for as to whether they actually want you even to bother with the S.A.T. essay altogether. So schools kind of surprised us a little bit. And they came down with there's three sort of categories where you'll see on the admissions pages. Some colleges require it. They definitely want you to do it. They want to see that score. Other schools recommend that you take it. And for me, whenever in a job search or a competitive application process for something, if the organization recommends it, to me, that means they require it in my mind. So I'm going to go ahead and do it. So recommend to me means, yeah, you're still doing it. And then some schools are neutral. They neither require nor recommend. And you would think that the schools that don't require or recommend would be slightly like lower quality. Maybe they don't take it as seriously, but that's just not the case. Schools surprised us a couple of years ago when this all came out with where they fell along the continuum of what they wanted. And you'll see these are all top level, highly regarded schools here in the US, and they all have different, things they're looking at. The S.A.T. is one element that admissions officials consider, but more and more they're looking at all kinds of other things as well. And they realize that a single test score maybe doesn't give them the full picture of a student's potential. So you definitely want to find out what your schools want. This list is ever evolving. Each year, schools change their minds about how they want to deal with S.A.T. scores. So instead of just looking at this YouTube video, I'm going to recommend that you go to this bit.ly. This is the College Board's updated catalog of what schools are requiring. And then always, of course, you're going to want to go to your specific school of interest's website to see what their current round of admissions requirements are. So it's on you to find out what you need to do. But let's say you definitely have to take the test, you've done the S.A.T. essay, and you want to know how it's scored. It's a little funky. It's not just like one simple score like the other parts of the S.A.T. They're actually going to evaluate your essay on three areas: reading, writing, and analysis. For the reading, they want to know that you have comprehension of the argument essay that you dug into. Do you understand what was put before you? For analysis, what do you see in it? Are you able to pull out those rhetorical devices, and are you able to understand, analyze why the writer used them? And then they're looking for your nuts and bolts writing skills. Do you know how to build an essay? Do you have coherent thought? They will have two scorers who evaluate you on those three areas, and they give you a 1 through 4 point score for each of them. So ranging from advanced 4 all the way down to 1 at inadequate. So you really want the 3 or the 4. Obviously the 4 is the top mark. And like I said, there's two people who will score it in those three areas, and then they add those scores together to determine your final score. The final score is reported separately because it's a different format than the other elements of the S.A.T. Exams that you've taken, and it's going to look something like this. You'll have three numbers: reading, analysis, writing. An 888 would be the very tippy top all-time best score. On the College Board's website, where they have their sample essays, you can see some of them, some of the papers that they've released, and you can see which papers got which score in which areas, which I think is really helpful before you go into your own testing situation. And again, they're added together. So in my example, you can see score 1 and score 2. We add those together. In the case where the two scores disagree by more than 1 point level, a third scorer is actually brought in to be the tiebreaker. They're a little bit higher pay, they're a little bit better trained, and so that they're the ones who actually determine like which side of the fence the essay falls in. All right, that's where we're going to leave it this week. Interesting stuff if you're taking the S.A.T. I think the bigger issues of just being able to understand and deconstruct argument that's being presented to you is really what the life skill is. This scoring and stuff is interesting, but it's not really that impactful to your adult life. but it's here for you. I thought it'd be interesting. So there we go. All right, that's it for this Freestyle Friday. I'll be back on Monday with more grammar practice, Wednesday with vocab, and next Friday, we're going to step away from the S.A.T. We're done talking about this topic, but there'll be another drop of high school English awesomeness for you here on the YouTube channel. I hope you had a great week. I hope you're heading into a gorgeous weekend, and I hope you've already subscribed to the channel, and if not, do it. What are you waiting for? Also, you can always give a little thumbs up, like to the video. It helps folks find us and enjoy the good work that we're doing here. All right, you guys, I really appreciate the time that you spend here. I'll see you on Monday. Bye.